So the first question is about this mobility solutions industry, and I mean rapidly doesn't even describe it. I mean it's changing so fast. So how do you see this panning out over the next 4-5 years, or maybe a time frame that is you're more comfortable with?
Essentially, we're living in very interesting times. So enough and more is happening for us to give us enough number of challenges that we need to cope with. And I think it's brilliant to be in this space. The idea is to sit here today and figure out what we should be doing 5 years from now so that we can build such solution.
So what is the organization doing about finding out these things?
There is something called new product initiatives where we are doing two things. One is in the last couple of years we've started investing in direct to market initiatives. That is very helpful because now we are able to connect to the consumer directly. So far we were only talking to our customers and not the end users. So that is bringing in a lot of insights for us, which is going back into the product development.
In the next 4 to 5 years, everything that we are looking at, I mean, there are lots of these cross-pollination of things that are going to happen, and the consumer behavior is going to change. Now, in a routine, life of say you or any of your key colleagues here, there is always a battle of today versus tomorrow. Do you think that the emphasis on tomorrow is adequate, or do you think something can be done to make?
I handle a very new product. It's called like I said, Mobiquity Wallet, right? So it's just about 2 years old. Till a year back, I had no customers. So I was doing whatever the hell I wanted because there was no pressure at all. Now that I have customers, there are constant requests coming in. So the amount of time I was spending thinking about new things I can do with the product has significantly reduced because I already have a backlog that I need to deliver to my customer, and that obviously eats into some of the time you could have dedicated otherwise. We are trying to retain our focus. So what we have done is we have sort of split the team into a POC team where we are trying out new concepts, trying to build, keep an eye on the new technology trends, what is happening in the market, and identify how this can impact the different solutions we build.
Now, how does this mindset shift, happen in the next 5 years or 4 years? Saying that, okay, how do I understand banking? How do I understand finance? So what's your thought on that?
So banking is relatively a little easier because most of us in the team come from a banking background. I myself was with Finacle, Infosys earlier, so it helps to get some of those concepts in place. I understand how bank works. So banking, I think, is relatively easier. The challenge we have today is with the retail space because none of us really understand retail. Having a conversation with the subject matter experts there also help us. But I think there's a long way to go there. That is one area I think we really need to improve on.
Technology fraternity in India, let's call the techies, particularly in Bangalore, they're very good at customer understanding but very bad at consumer understanding because they've never really, they've always been the back end for delivery to what the customer needs. But the guys in the Silicon Valley, they are the people who are saying, okay, what is the consumer preference, and therefore what is going to be the next wave of social media? Hey, back end the work to India. So do you agree with that?
Absolutely. See, as a product manager, that is the biggest challenge we need to overcome. We are so used to getting the requirements from the customer and building something. So we analyze all the RFPs or the requirement for proposals we get and say, oh, 3 banks are asking for this, so let me build it. But we have no clue if the consumer really wants it. The other very interesting thing we found out, a lot of research reports says consumers are very conscious of security issues with mobile payments, etc. Right? We went around and quizzed people. Do you really care? They're like, not really. I mean, what does it even mean? I obviously do not want someone to just take my phone and my money goes. But beyond something like a PIN and all, I don't really think that I need 30 different things to ensure that I'm protected. When you talk to the user, you gain insights which you'll never gain from reports or your customers. So that is definitely something I totally agree with, but that's one thing we're not doing as well as I would like to.